I have a question, by the way, before you go on to this. Speaking of XM, I just got to know. I just want to throw it out there. Apparently, there's this douchebag who wants to be talked about, so I'll talk about him. This Boneyard guy, cool guy.
Yeah.
Who's been trashing the show. So, dude, if you're listening, no one here listens to you, and we can't get audio because you have 4 listeners. So if you want to say something, please call in. We will put you on the air. If you want attention that bad, you're welcome to call into the show and voice any. He's like this over-the-hill wannabe rocker who has like a show, and he's been trashing the show. So I would like to know what he has to say.
Is that the guy that said he was going to slap me or punch me when he saw me?
Same jerk-off.
Another all talk, no action guy, because I walked right by him in the hall, to do our show when we were down there.
Did he smack you?
No. He didn't smack me.
No.
No one's going to smack me.
Cool guy.
He didn't even attempt.
Cool guy.
He didn't even attempt any type of confrontation.
Huh.
That's why you're a phony. And that's why you're stuck just playing records, you idiot.
Well, he had another show, apparently, which failed. He's a wannabe, and we all know what that is.
Yeah.
And now he's trashing the show. And we all know you're a little jealous. You've been at XM for a while. I'm sorry, man. Nobody noticed you. I apologize that happened. And then the O&A show comes and gets all the attention, all the press, and you resent that. And I understand that. Nobody wants to have had a dream and failed at it.
Yeah.
So please, if you want to call in, you will be put on the air, and people will hear you out. But don't be a little faggot and hide on your... nobody listens to you, dude. You're on overnight. Nobody cares. So you want to say it, call in here. Everybody will hear it. You're invited to call in.
And I walked right by the guy. He didn't confront me. He didn't try to smack me or punch me like he's been saying on his stupid radio show. The reality is, if you play records on a radio station, you're either an underachiever and you just don't really want to work hard, which is cool. Want to smoke your dope and smoke your cigarettes and drink at night and come in and have a cushy job. Or you're a failure at this business, and you stink. That's it.
That's about
and I know I just insulted a lot of people, but that's the fact.
Too bad.
Anyone could spin records and talk a little bit between the records. Anyone could do that. Anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you can call it. Maybe you can call him with one of the characters you used to do on your old show that failed. I'm trying to get audio. No one has audio of this guy. So if you have this jerk-off's audio, please send it to Stephen Foundry, because we're trying to find it, and nobody has it. So apparently your listeners don't care about you enough to record anything you say ever.
He's a phony, dude.
Of
Simple
course
as that. He was talking about how he's going to smack me and punch me when he saw me. I walked right by the guy.
Nothing.
He didn't even flinch.
He wants attention. We're not in an Arbitron ratings war. So what's he on, the Boneyard cool guy? Tune in. Listen to him. Tune in and listen to him. I guarantee he stinks.
So what's going on, Jimmy?
Oh, a little sleepy.
Why are you sleepy?
Yeah, I didn't sleep well last night.
What happened?
I went to bed late, and I'm tired.
Why didn't you go to Betty Bye?
Because I'm a cheap fuck.
No,
What do you mean you're
never
a cheap?
Seen you as that?
What do you mean you're a cheap fuck?
Well, a lot of people know we've when we came to XM, we were getting emails occasionally, people saying that this jerk off on the Boneyard was this guy, cool guy, is talking about you guys, and of course none of us had ever heard of him because he's a nobody. Who is he? And so we heard this for a while. I heard it for a while. I got emails and people said they heard stuff. So I posted something on Whackbag. And apparently he wasn't very happy with it.
Well, just a little background, too. He went on his show and out of nowhere said he's going to slap me in the face or something like that.
Yeah, that was how it kind of started.
And then
perusing our message boards?
Of course, he listens to the show. He's not a fan of the show, probably. He's just
So he said he was going to slap me in the face. I take all that stuff very seriously, okay?
Right.
And then when we were in Washington, I walked by a studio, and it was a guy with long hair and sunglasses on. And someone said, that's the guy that wants to slap you in the face. And whoever this guy was, we made kind of eye contact. And I walked by like, all right, well, I guess he doesn't feel like slapping me in the face today. Maybe it'll be tomorrow.
Yeah, I was with you. I remember. It was me and you walking by.
All right.
It was a half a second, yeah.
And I forgot who told us, but it was like, that's the guy, cool guy, whatever. Right. And I'm like, all right, whatever. And I went and did our show. You know, it was obvious there was really no threat there. So I'm thinking, it's wacky radio crap again, because most of these guys just do wacky radio crap.
Sure.
The reality is Anthony and I have never done wacky radio crap, and it's all real.
Mm-hmm.
When we fight, we really fight. We don't fake fight. We've never fake fight.
I'm sorry. So I'm reading Jimmy's.
Well, read it on the air. So then what? So then you posted on whackbag.com.
Only because I had gotten emails from people. I'd never heard of this douchebag. And people kept saying he's talking about... So you know what he wants. He wants a little attention. Understandable. But at least, just call in the show if you want to be a part of the show or if you need to be recognized for something. So I posted. People responded a little bit. And that was it. And apparently he got a little upset about the post.
Yeah. Well, you know something? I would be upset, too.
Well, you know what?
You are a scumbag. You write so well to bash people. It's fantastic.
You want me to read this really fast? So then Jim Norton just, you got so upset, or did you get upset?
No, just disgusted with the fact that a guy who I'd never heard of is trashing the show. It's like, for what? We never badmouthed you. We didn't know who you are.
Yeah, I don't even know what his motivation was for bashing us to begin with, because we had no idea who the guy was, and all of a sudden he's just saying he's going to slap me in the face, and I don't know what else he said because I don't listen to him. I just don't. I'll tune in the Boneyard every once in a while to hear some cool songs, like I do all the music channels. Yeah. I couldn't tell you one. Hate to say this, but I couldn't tell you one jock in any of these music channels, except for that Bruce guy on the 80s channel, because he does some kind of a morning show, and we've been on his show. But in general...
Mad Mexican.
Yes.
Oh, Mad Mexican. Okay, you're right. But that's just because, we had him on the show.
Because he's out of his mind.
I mean, there are the talk stations where the talk personalities, and there's the music channels, and that's how it's sold... to everybody out there in Radio Land. It's 130 channels of commercial-free music, or whatever they say. But it doesn't mention jocks. I couldn't tell you one jock in any of these channels, and I listened to all of them. I listened to Ethel and Squiz, and every once in a while I'll take a peek at that Lucy station, Anthony.
Right.
And I'll take a peek at U-Pop is kind of cool, and Deep Tracks and Top Tracks. But honestly, I couldn't tell you one name of a jock, except for another one we know just because he interviewed us, George Taylor Morris.
There you go.
Who's actually a legend and has an unbelievable radio voice. So I got to give him props. But in general, I don't know any of these guys,
right?
And there's no reason to, because they're pretty much saying, hey man, here's Nirvana from the box set on Squiz, or here's whatever on the Boneyard. That's it. Liquid Metal, all that stuff. There's no jocks that really stand out, so maybe it's his way of trying to get known, I guess. I don't know.
Of course it is.
So he started trashing us, and I just defended myself. I'm like, you ain't slapping me, pal. No one's slapping me in the face, trust me, without a major problem. And I mean a major problem. And he had his chance when we were in Washington, and it didn't happen.
Of course it didn't.
All right? So then you went on Whackbag and decided you had enough, and you wrote this little thing on whackbag.com. Now the people at opieanthony.net are going to get upset because they're getting all the attention today.
Is that how it goes?
We can't win here. They get upset when we talk about Whackbag too much. Even though it's all about the Opie and Anthony show, there's like divisions.
Yes.
If you post on Whackbag, you better not post on opieanthony.net. It's like, what a mess we've started. I got to tell you.
It doesn't make any sense.
So anyway, this is what Norton had to say about this guy, Cool Guy. I've been told that this late-night jizzbag has been bad-mouthing us, but have been unable to obtain audio. With a name like Cool Guy, I'm sure he'll be forced to be reckoned with. I wonder if he runs around the studio with his thumbs up in the air in a Fonzie-like manner.
In a Fonzie-like manner? Ha ha. Hey, Cool Guy. Hey. Yeah, look at me. Hey, in a Fonzie-like manner. You are a tool.
See, I'm out of this discussion because my name is the worst in radio.
But everyone knows your real name, though. It's not a secret that you're Greg Hughes. Opie, we all know where Opie comes from. It's not some faggot moniker that you picked up to live a life that isn't real.
No, it's a nickname I got when I was 12.
Of course it is.
And honestly, I'm sick of it, but Anthony and I kind of made our names with the Opie and Anthony moniker. I would love to go back to my regular name.
Do you think anybody walks around naming him Cool Guy? Hey, Cool Guy.
Right.
No, it's just what he calls himself, and that's all people know to call him. There's a difference.
So then Jimmy continues, I bet he does cool things on his show, though, like play the sound of a beer can opening to simulate drinking a few beers with some cool friends while listening to tunes. I'll bet they have some real man's man laughs in the 2 to 3 minutes he's permitted to speak before he has to play the next song. He must have some really cool contests, too, like if you can guess how many years ago he passed the age his haircut is appropriate. You win a failed radio career and a self-inflicted gunshot wound. I understand it's frustrating to have Opie and Anthony show up and... Wait, typo? I understand it's frustrating to have the Opie and Anthony show up and getting all the attention and all the press. In those moments in between songs, he does his best to be outrageous, and I could say without sarcasm, it's sad that nobody noticed. If he wants to come on our show, maybe he can audition for the news, or perhaps we can begin a new segment called Cool Guys Traffic. He could call in every 10 minutes on the ones and give accident reports while heavy metal and bubbling bong water sounds play in the background. I guess he just couldn't quite cut the mustard, so he takes it out on the Opie and Anthony show. If you want to see the epitome of an absolutely...
Epitome.
Oh, epitome, sorry. Epitome, Jesus Christ. Oh, my Lord. If you want to see the epitome of an...
epitome,
If you want to see the epitome of an absolutely washed-up douche, look at his picture on the XM website. Long hair and dark sunglasses. Welcome to 1983. Fucking faggot. Just do the menial tasks you've been hired to do. Put in the CD, hit play, and continue to remain anonymous. Jim Norton.
So that I posted because I was just irritated at hearing his name and that he was just trashing the show for no reason. Because you knew he just wanted a little attention.
Right.
And you can look at the picture with the shades. He's got shades and like the hat and the long hair. You know, it's like that fucking wannabe rocker look, like a guy who like probably had a dream of making it in music and failed, and then does what guys do when they fail, hits play and features the music of people who are talented, and that's where he is right now. He's a guy who couldn't cut the mustard, and he wants to be somebody, so he's trying to latch onto the O&A show. And he figures he'll get like a little fun radio war started. Mm-hmm. But he didn't like what happened on Whackbag, I guess. And we started to trash him on here. So this groveling jerk-off sends open email yesterday. He gets an email yesterday.
Well, here's the deal. Yeah, so Cool Guy started emailing me over the weekend. So I came in yesterday, and I showed you guys the email. And I'm like, look, you know, whatever. This guy's whatever. We'll just back off. We have a radio show to do anyway.
Yeah.
Is that what I said?
You said, look, yeah, we'll let it go for now. Forget it. Like, let's not trash him anymore. And we were all cool with it. It was like, all right, fine.
It was like he had his fun. We're working for the same company, whatever. The guy wants us to back off because he has some personal issues that he doesn't want his listeners to know about.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. The guy's, is concerned, and he reached out to me. So I showed you guys, like, all right, I guess this is done, and we win another one. Because we always win. I mean, ask Howard. Howard doesn't even mess with us.
No.
Howard doesn't have the balls to mess with this radio program. It's a fact. It's always been a fact.
Always went behind the scenes.
So I just said, okay, well, I guess, we got the best of this cool guy, Cat, and we'll let it be. No big deal. We got a radio show to do.
No on air. We beat him. Nothing. Like, yesterday we didn't talk about him. We're done. Forget it. You want to move on? We'll move on.
But I guess he just went off last night on his radio show.
Well, if that's what you can call going off.
Which is weird because, he emailed me, here's the dates, mostly the February 12th. February 12th we went back and forth. What day was that? That was like Saturday?
Today's the 14th or 15th? 15th.
So Saturday?
Yeah.
All right, well, sorry, cool guy, but, like I said, we don't fake fight. So here's cool guy's email to me. I was and still am amusing that I'm not serious about the shit I say on the Boneyard. So already he's admitting he's just a phony.
Yeah, of course.
I was and still am amusing that I'm not serious about the shit I say on the Boneyard. I want to make that clear now in case of the possibility that you may have any doubt. By the time I get to XM, the place is mostly empty and I don't get to see the people in management. But every month or so, I will see Kevin Straley, and I know that he has talked to you about me. And I don't worry about things being misunderstood because he is a good guy, and he does know me well. But the thing that raised the red flag in my head wasn't the on-air stuff, but on Whackbag. I just read the mobilization guidelines.
What is he doing reading the website?
He's obsessed, dude. Someone's finally talking about him.
I've never read the mobilization guidelines. What's on that?
I don't know.
Is it bad?
It couldn't be good. It really bothered him.
Mobilization guidelines.
On Whackbag.
I believe they,
Have you read the mobilization guidelines on whackbag.com?
No, but I kind of know what it is, I think.
All right, what is it?
I could assume.
It's when we go to war?
Whenever we go to war with somebody, it's Whackbag's rules of engagement. They have rules of engagement where this is how you act. They wait for certain signals from us, and then they go to it, and it's brutal. They'll do things, as far as hacking computers, making phone calls. I mean, it's awful.
Dude,
They're awful people.
It's like a 10-page thing.
Oh yeah, it's a manifesto. and they're horrible people that you don't want to deal with.
Have these guys taken up arms against the government, pretty much?
Yeah, they're very
And
organized.
that's something about a black helicopter I just saw.
Yeah, there you go. Black Ops.
All right, what is the O&A Army? Here it is. I've never read this before. This is a lot of fun, Anthony. What is the O&A Army? The Army is comprised of dedicated listeners and fans who enjoy the show and like helping out the boys. Anyone who considers themselves a fan is part of the Army, and if you help the boys out when they tell you to do so, you're a good egg. Private. Would it help the boys if I complained to the FCC about other shows? No. There's no need to unnecessarily provoke shows or hosts that are not enemies of the show. The best way to express your distaste for a show you don't like is not to listen and spread the O&A virus wherever you can. Can we organize a siege on another message board like we did with the Tony Danza board? No. The reason that Danza's board was attacked by the Army was because one of his staffers provoked us by roughing up a show member. When Sex Bagel was harassed by Danza's show security, there was a viable reason for retaliation. There is no reason to attack other message boards that are not enemies of the show. When O&A wants someone taken out, they make it abundantly clear.
Right.
Assaults on media guidelines by request. Wow.
See, they have a whole guideline of
Is there
how
more,
to
Eric,
attack,
somewhere?
how to attack and when to attack, things like that. But I guess he read that
Yeah,
and got a little...
And he got really nervous, and he decided he needed to write me personally. So.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, whatever, dude. You know, I don't really care about you or your show. I've never met you, and whatever, fine. We're done with this. I don't care. You know, but then he goes and attacks like Jimmy in the show yesterday.
Yeah.
So his email continues. I just read the mobilization guidelines, and that did it. If that wasn't supposed to concern me, then I am giving myself too much credit. But it did. A little message board got to him is basically what...
If that wasn't supposed to concern me, what did he think that was just based on him?
I don't know. If that wasn't supposed to concern me, then I am giving myself too much credit, but it did. I know that you gave me some good bait with the lie about passing by me at XM and the wrong hours of my show and the failed show with characters, but I'm not that stupid. No, I was given false information. I walked by this studio, and someone said, there's the guy that trashed you, the cool guy, whatever.
And I heard that, and I think
Thank
it was
you.
him. He was just sitting in the studio. It was so fast, we were already gone. That's cool guy. Oh, okay. It was we were past it already.
Well, because I think we were still doing our show.
Yeah, we were told that. It wasn't a lie.
And if he's a night jock and he wasn't there, then he wasn't there. But someone told me it was you. You know, whatever. I'm not that obsessed with you, dude. I have no idea who you are. I really don't. Let's see. Wrong hours, Michelle. All right. No fucking way am I going to call in to your program. If I did that, I'd lose. If you were me, you wouldn't have taken that bait either. Thanks, though, for thinking of me and offering me that opportunity. And believe me, I would love to be on the show sometime, but not that way. I ain't walking into that kind of murdering. But as far as the job safety subject of this email goes, sorry, bud, but, you know, I said we were going to lay off, and you had to go on your little radio show. So
yeah,
now...
do your wacky show again. And by the way, the thing about characters wasn't a lie, because he makes up these characters, or at least he used to. One was Maud, this older lady who liked him, and this other, I forget, it's some southern character or something he does. Just atrocious.
Oh, come on, that sounds funny.
Oh, my God, there's a whole bunch of them there in studio. Nope, it's just one. Ugh, you 1983 jerk-off.
So I say sorry because...
Butch, yeah, that's the guy's name.
I say sorry because this next paragraph he really doesn't want anyone to know about. But,
too bad.
But you know what? You forced my hand now by, you know, we backed off and you decide you needed to go after Jim Norton. Because in the end, you know, we make fun of each other here, but we'll fight to the end for each of us.
Do you think this is divide and conquer, you fucking idiots?
We're like a bunch of Irish brothers.
Right.
You get them in the bar, they'll beat the living crap out of each other to near death, but if anyone else steps in, all three turn around and kill the guy.
So here's what he doesn't want his listeners to know. Sorry, buddy. I ain't walking into that kind of murdering. But as far as the job safety subject of this email goes, I have a wife and 2 children.
Uh-oh.
Aww.
Cool guy's a daddy.
Cool dad.
And a husband.
See, he's a phony. He wants to act like he's this big rock and roll, you know, rock star. And the fact is, he's a family man, and God bless him.
Good for you. Nothing wrong with nothing wrong with going to PTA meetings. That makes the parents think you're cool.
I'm looking forward.
He's probably the coolest guy at the PTA meeting.
I'm looking forward to being a dad, and you know, and,
what?
I'm looking forward to being a dad, but
I'm not.
But I'm not going to, make believe I'm not a dad when I am, because the listeners would be like, "Oh, dude, you're a dad, and you're supposed to be
Playing
a cool
the
guy."
rockin' tunes. You're a cool guy, out partying all night with the whores. You're a party guy. You're a cool guy.
Yeah, real cool guy.
But as far as the job safety subject of this email goes, I have a wife and 2 children, and I don't want to sound like Elo, but being a father is the only thing that matters to me. And like I said, I ain't that fucking stupid. Risk a problem with my job. We don't have a problem with his wife and 2 kids.
Take the cool guy minivan out. Ouch.
Ugh. I'm proud to be a dad. Fuck you. Are you really proud of it? You don't even talk about it on your show?
That's cool guy. That's the big...
What about the rest of it? Is there any more there?
Yeah, that's the big secret of cool guy, that he's actually married with 2 kids.
Yeah, let's go to the phones and take a request.
Yeah, cool guy?
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, could you bring home some eggs and milk and bread? And we need some, well, the kids want to talk.
Yeah, oh, well, we got cut off there. Some more cool guy show.
Dude, this is one reason why Anthony and I really aren't friends with many radio guys, because they're a bunch of phonies.
Ugh.
Now, all these guys go on the air and act tough, and they have secret lives, and here's a guy that's making believe he's not married with kids, and it's just...
If you wanted to brawl on the air, fine. That's, I think, what we were doing. But then you can't... See, that's not how we operate. You can't then go and write emails and say, please back off or whatever, and then we back off because, the guy doesn't want to go to it on the air. That's fine. But then after writing the email and Opie responds, you can't then go on the air the next day and continue a phony, war. The whole phoniness of it, we'll still go back and forth, but I'm telling you, it's all fake and stuff, so be cool, and don't mention it. And there's, guidelines and rules so we can duke it out, and it's all fake. We don't do that. So you can't get on and bash Jimmy. First of all, how he goes on and says things like, Jimmy isn't funny, or he's funnier than Jim.
It's mind-boggling.
One of the most talented comics there are. It doesn't make sense to... You look stupid if you go on and say Jimmy isn't funny.
Yeah, we don't...
You go talk to the places that pack out after one of his performances. Tell those people. It doesn't make sense to say things like that.
The business is filled with guys like Cool Guy. They're a bunch of phonies, and he doesn't want anyone to know that he has a wife and 2 children, because it's not good for his image.
But the bottom line, it's not bad for his image either, because nobody gives a shit.
And then he finally...
Nobody cares!
He finishes with, one last thing, I really don't expect you to continue with this, because I know it helps me more than anything else.
Reverse psychology.
Being best on your show and on Whackbag is not just a great thing for me, but without question the biggest thing that has happened to me in my radio career.
Oh.
What was that last thing? If you could, because I never read that. When I first posted this on Whackbag about how he needed a little attention, I'm sorry, I didn't read. What was that last sentence, if you could? I'm sorry.
Being best on your show and on Whackbag is not just a great thing for me, but without question the biggest thing that has happened to me in my radio career. Of course it is. You guys would be doing me a huge favor if you decide not to drop it, and I don't want to sound like an asshole and assume that you won't. And for all I know, my mention it now might be the absolute worst thing for me to do because it could backfire. But I would like to keep my handful of nitwit listeners from knowing that I'm married with kids.
Wait a minute. He wrote that? Mm-hmm. That's classic.
You bet he did.
Oh, is that classic?
And when
my handful of nitwit listeners
from knowing I have a wife and kids.
It's right on my corporate email account on my Trio. So when he tries to claim that this did not happen,
it's for real.
And he's ripping us off because we're the ones with nitwit listeners. Wow, that's funny.
Let me,
yes, please reread that, Opie.
And honestly, I was gonna just.
Oh, that's funny.
As much as this makes really good radio, I'm like, all right, the guy came to me. This is cool. I'll just not.
We didn't mention it.
I'm like, we'll just let this die, no problem. I got these emails from the guy, and then he goes on a show last night. We have the audio trashing the show, and just we'll prove that he's a complete phony.
And dude, when you mentioned that yesterday, tell you, hey, let's just lay off or whatever. I was fine with it too. I was like, all right, whatever, no problem. Who cares? No one cared.
And I don't want to sound like an asshole, and assume that you won't, and for all I know, my mentioning it now might be the absolute worst thing for me to do because it could backfire. But I would like to keep my handful of nitwit listeners from knowing that I am married with kids because it wouldn't jive with the crappy show.
Did he really say with a crappy show?
I swear to God. It's right here if you want to see
Oh.
it. It's unbelievable to me, but there are some fucks out there that really can't tell that my show is bullshit.
Oh.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you. Have I ever kidded you?
Well,
They can tell now, stupid.
that's a good one.
Well, and then I wrote back. Let's see. And then I'm like, because I'm still pissed off because, you know, this guy said he was going to slap me. I said we obviously should talk about this. I was told by this is me talking to him now on the email. We obviously should talk about this. I was told by reliable sources that you wanted to slap me. Whether you were serious or not, I had to assume you were. I've had many threats in my life, so I've gotten real good at protecting myself. As far as walking by you when I was at XM, I didn't make that up. I guess I must assume that I got false information.
Right.
Maybe we should talk on the phone to clear this up. As far as the fans, they have nothing to worry about. Their words are much bigger than their bite. It will take one email from Anthony and I to have them all back off. Just one email. That's all.
The Army, they have a protocol.
Right. Just let me know what you want me to do. Peace. So I threw out the old olive branch there, Anthony.
We walk around with what the president calls the football. You know, if we ever need an attack, it's just it's a simple button that we push, but it can also be called off. That's the protocol.
Sounds good. I would like to talk on the phone with you as well. This is Cool Guy calling me back, writing me back. If you want to talk tonight, my home number is...
Oh, no.
1-800-DIAL-A-FRAUD. Fucking bore.
If I don't hear from you, no sweat. I'm sure you need your weekends for things other than work-related bullshit like this. Take care, Cool Guy.
Wouldn't that be funny if that phone number ended up on Whackbag?
Nah, you don't want that because if that happened, well, one of them would probably use it. One of them may decide to use it.
That is funny.
And it's just sickening.
Yeah.
We were going to lay off, dude.
It was done.
It was done. I was fine with
it. It was a done deal.
I actually, when I read that, I almost felt like kind of bad about what I posted. Like, all right, man, the guy was just having a little fun. I didn't hear the audio. Maybe I was just a dick and overreacted because I tend to do that sometimes. I get very defensive if I feel like...
Sure.
Like we're not bullies on the show. Like when Playboy, there was a little problem with the two girls. They said, hey, look, all right, we're enough. We're like, all right, fine, enough's enough.
We never talked about him again.
Never bashed him again. We're not bullies on the show. We're not assholes.
Guy reached out, wrote the email, voiced his concerns. We laid off of him.
Yep.
There's plenty of other things to talk about.
Absolutely.
And then the very next day, he gets on.
That's the weird part. This
and
was going on over the weekend, and then it was like...
Jimmy Norton.
Yeah. I didn't... whatever. So, yeah, this is him on a show last night. Here he is, the father of two. The married father of two.
On his crappy show with his handful of...
Nitwit listeners.
Right. And this is what he had to say.
If you're big fans of the Opie and Anthony show, I want to know about it. I want to know right now. If you're fans of Jimmy Norton, little Jimmy Norton, Monster Rain, I want to know right now. Give me a call, 866-315-BONE. I'm serious. I got nothing better to do. I'm just a monkey jock. You know what I mean? If you listen to Whackbag, if you go to whackbag.com, those fucking morons, if you listen to that shit, if you're fans of those fucks, I want to hear from you, man.
Wow.
Come on, Bach. Any of you idiots who go to Whackbag, give me a call.
Oh, Bach was one of the Whackbaggers.
Oh, really?
Oh, they really hurt his feelings. Whackbaggers,
wow.
You're getting to him.
You absolutely got to him.
Do you think I would mention another show's message board on the air that hurt my feelings?
No.
Oh, he really is being hurt by Whackbag. They're really upsetting him. So, Whackbag now, you're a bunch of fucks and morons.
You know what? No, I know Whackbag well enough to know that because they just heard that, they'll completely lay off of him now.
Absolutely. They won't start, absolutely will not start posting anything about him.
Of course not. They will lay off him because they know they upset the guy.
Yep.
He's obsessed with reading the message board. And the best thing they can do is probably just not acknowledge him anymore.
Let it blow over.
Just let it blow over.
They're not going to start calling his show and
No.
having serious questions only.
Of course not. They're not like that.
No.
They have a protocol that they adhere to.
Absolutely. He doesn't have a message board, so they can't go
Yeah.
on that. He doesn't have a fan site, so they can't go on that.
No.
Nobody gives a shit about this guy in the business. Nobody cares.
And his big secret, he's married with 2 kids.
Yeah, who cares? It's fine. No one cares. I don't care.
Look, here come the calls. Had it flying in, man. Look at that, man. Here, I thought I had a listenership.
Yeah, man.
But nobody cares. I tell you, man, I'm pathetic. What are you doing?
Hey, I hate that faggot Jimmy Norton.
Ah, come on. Of Norton?
No, I'm cool. I hate Opie. He's a fucking douchebag.
No, I don't hate Opie. I got respect for because he's worked very hard to get to where he is. He may have made a couple of mistakes along the way, but, you know, he's a radio guy. He loves radio, and he understands radio. Norton is a faggot. Go back to Norton if you want to fucking get my attention. Hold on a second.
Really? I'm a faggot, huh? Well, man, I'd rather suck dicks than go home and put it in some wife that I don't acknowledge. What do you think of them apples, stupid?
Oh, God.
You talk to her like that with that voice? Hey, baby, hey, no, I can't talk to you in my rock voice. You fucking fraud. You fraud. Don't blame me because you didn't have the balls to pull it out and aim for the face. Sorry you left it in. Now you got 2 kids you're stuck in that gig you don't like because your radio partner moved to another state. Sorry it didn't work out, motherfucker. Sorry about that. I'm honest. I'm a pervert. I like prostitutes. Sorry about that. At least I'm not stupid enough to live with one for the rest of my life. Get out. That's what I do to them. I don't knock them up and then pretend I didn't.
He might really love his wife.
I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm just saying what I don't do.
He just doesn't want people to know he's married with 2 kids.
Oh, it's a handful of nitwit listeners?
Yeah, handful of nitwit listeners.
Listen, if anybody wants to call to talk about what makes the Cool Guy show better than the Opie and Anthony show, that's what I want to hear, man. What's your name? I'm talking to you.
Hey,
Yeah.
what's going on?
What do you need?
I don't need nothing. What do you need?
I don't need nothing either. What do you want? Hurry up.
Just call to see what's going on over there, man. I checked out that O1A show when they had it on free for a week. I didn't like it at all, man.
You weren't familiar with them from FM, were you?
No, not at all.
Well, I was, and I'll be honest with you. I turned a lot of boneheads on to Opie and Anthony because I just loved the show when they were on FM. And they lack something. Yeah, they're almost getting back now in a way, but I don't give a shit. I'm just talking about Jimmy Norton maybe now. But you're not familiar with the show, though. So you don't even know what's going on, do you?
No, not at all, man. I don't even care that I'm missing it. Like I said, I listened to it for that week when they were for free, and they did nothing for me, so I don't even bother.
So now why are you listening to the Boneyard? Because you want to hear some great white?
I love the music, man. I love listening to your show. You make me laugh a lot.
Oh, so the microphone technique makes you laugh, brother?
Yeah, you come out with some pretty hilarious shit.
Fucking A. What's your name, dude? You're all right.
Hey, this
You're
is
all right.
in Chicago.
Thanks, Howard. You're cool as shit, man. You enjoy your evening.
I like when you argue with old hot dog neck.
You see, you understand, man. You're all right. Thanks for calling, Howie.
Right on. Have a good night, brother.
You're right, huh? Hey, you're right. Oh, I'm off the air? Oh.
Yes, Poopsie, I'll be home shortly. Yes, I'll come home and tuck in the little ones.
Dude, chill, man. The guy said he doesn't want his nitwit listeners to know he's married with 2 kids. Let's relax on that.
His handful of nitwit.
Oh, a lot of them don't even know this show is bullshit. Well, they do now, you silly goose. Oops. Whoops-a-daisy.
And lose my email because now I don't even acknowledge you. I don't write you back. I gave you a shot, and then you had to be stupid.
What'd you think?
Another stupid jock.
You could say that, oh, you respect Opie, but you can bash Jimmy, and we'll all just sit there and go, yeah, at least he said we were okay.
Ugh.
What do you think, the divide and conquer thing that people have tried for years is going to work because Cool Guy's doing it?
They've been trying to do that with Anthony and I for...
Oh, forever.
Well, we've been doing this 10 years now. For
and
10
for
years.
10 years, before we even started, when at BAB they were trying divide and conquer. Before we were even technically working together, that was being attempted. And then Jimmy on board.
Well, I mean, it's a pretty interesting story because I was doing nights at WBAB and doing pretty well on my own. You know, I did all right. And then, Anthony and I got together, and we knew we had something, and we knew we were going to take it really far. We knew right off the bat, within our first week of broadcasting, that we had something that was pretty cool. So then I went to BAB and said, look, man, we're doing nights. We were getting a buzz because Ant was doing my show off and on for like 3 or 4 months. I'm like, we're getting a really good buzz here. And, you got some dead weights in the other slots, let's be honest here. Move us up. Move us up. We want to stay. We're from Long Island. Just move us up, and we'll stay. And they pretty much didn't go for that idea. So I'm like, all right. I basically said I'm going to go find us another gig. I sent out 3 tapes. All 3 places wanted us.
Yep.
It was Dallas, it was WAAF, and I forgot the third one now. I think it was Cleveland or something like that. And then, no, where the hell was it? It wasn't Cleveland. I don't want to make this. I don't remember. So then we chose AAF.
Yeah.
And what BAB decided, instead of wishing us well, they had a shot to keep us. They decided, well, no, we're going to break them up right away. Then they decided, because Anthony was a Long Island guy too, they pulled him into a closed-door meeting and said, look, we want to give you Opie's show.
Yeah, they were going to then give me...
This was after 3 years of dedication to WBAB being the only show in recent years that had any type of buzz.
Yeah.
At all. And this is the thanks I got.
Opie
Even though we went
to
to them first and said, look, just keep us, just move us up, and we'll stay here, man.
Yeah. So we got the gig. We were going.
No, but explain what they said to you behind closed doors. It was amazing. Because Anthony, at this point, I mean, you got to remember, it's 10 years ago.
Right.
Raw talent, all that. We all know,
Dude,
what Anthony does.
It was after we got the gig, and we were going to go to
AAF.
To AAF, that they came to me, knowing now that we have a job together. Me and Ope, we're going to AAF. They came to me and said, we want you to take over Opie's slot, doing the 7 to midnight shift at BAB. Whatever you need, we'll put it in place. It'll be great. I think you're going to do well. And it's trying then to get, which would screw up the gig in Boston. I'm sure Ope would go there and do great anyway.
Well, what happened was
they had hired us together. And
well, what happened with the AAF gig, I don't think we've ever told this. Ron Valeri heard just me at the time, and he was going to give me nights at AAF, the same shift I was doing at BAB.
Yep.
But then I was like, well, Ron, that's cool, and I'm ready to move on. But I just started working with this new guy, Anthony, and I want you to hear some tapes because I think it's really cool stuff. Because they had Afternoon Drive open as well.
Yep.
So when I sent the tapes, they went, oh, my God, we'll throw you guys an Afternoon Drive tomorrow. They couldn't believe it.
So there we are, Afternoon Drive.
So at the worst, I guess I could have moved up there and did my nights at AF, and Anthony could have done nights at BAB.
Yeah, I could have taken Opie's old job and left them up there,
right.
Not in afternoons. What type of scumbag?
Well, it's the business.
Move is that?
The business is filled with scumbags like that. So when you find people you trust around you, you keep them close, and then you fight everybody else.
So that was the first, divide and conquer that they tried, and that didn't work. And the numerous ones after that didn't work.
Well, the best one after that was Dave Douglas up there, our first program director, who I have no respect for whatsoever, had no clue what talent was all about. One day we're getting ready for our show, and I'm getting coffee, and we were only on the job, I don't know, probably less than a month, so we're still getting our, quote, sea legs and figuring it all out. And Dave kind of, comes into the coffee area as I'm getting ready to get my cup of coffee and start the show with Anthony, and he goes, yeah, I got a question for you. I'm like, yeah, Dave? He goes, why Anthony? He was ready to divide and conquer right there. Like, why Anthony?
Why?
Because he was one of these PDs. Already Ant and I had personalities, and we were gonna do a lot of talking, even though there was music. And I think his logic was, no, I was brought in here. It's a music station. It's known as a music station. It was called the only station that really rocks. So it would go against his whole master plan, which was a lot of music, a lot of stupid interviews with boring musical guests saying
and he didn't
nothing.
hire us.
And he didn't hire us. So right there, he was trying to feel me out. If maybe, I don't know. I'm just going to say, I think maybe just keep me to spin stupid tunes and
get rid of me
and not talk as much and get rid of Anthony.
That's Dave Douglas.
And then I was just like, well, why Anthony? Because he's like probably like the most talented guy out there right now. You idiot.
Stupid Dave Douglas.
Have you listened to the show at all, you idiot?
That made a great working relationship after that.
Of course.
That ass, Dave Douglas. And look at where he ended up. Buried. Look at, we're doing just fine. Thank you, Dave Douglas. And then the other ones where we'd go in for negotiations, and they would be shocked and flabbergasted that we didn't negotiate behind each other's backs.
Right.
They couldn't understand us
guys
going
like Don
into the
and
office.
Mike and the rest of them. They all do their negotiations behind the scenes because
Separate.
They're trying to get more money than the other guy.
Right.
But then they go into a studio like we're doing here and act like they're the best of pals and stuff. So they're like, well, we're going to start your negotiations. This is now, 2 years down the road or whatever. And they're like, we scheduled your meeting, Opie, for 10 a.m., and Anthony will be at 11:30. And Anthony and I look at each other like, no, sorry. We do this together. And they were just amazed. Absolutely amazed.
Divide and conquer. Always.
You pay him $28,000 and you pay him $28,000.
That was great stuff.
But they couldn't believe it because they were going to nickel and dime both of us, and then it would, I guess it would be our jobs to try to get the, as much money as possible. We're like, no,
right.
We're in this together. Simple as this.
Yeah, there's a budget for the show. And then they figured whichever one of us could duke it out the best would get more of that piece of pie.
Right.
And they wouldn't want the other one to know that they got more. So, no. You go in there together, beat up on the bosses, and get more than's in the budget. But that's the trick.
And we take the good with the bad, too, because when we did the mayor's prank, where Mayor Menino died in the fake car accident. I mean, he didn't die, but our April Fool's prank, that was my bit. Basically, he could have thrown me under the bus.
Right, I could have been there. I could have been Rocco's partner.
He probably could have saved his ass, but Anthony knew we were in this together. So.
It's the Rocco and Anthony show. It's no mention Opie ever existed, like the phony radio people do.
Mean, technically, Anthony had nothing to do with the planning of that bit. He went along with it on the air and all that, but I mean. If you think about it, he could have probably groveled to the bosses and saved his ass.
I was the misinfo of that
yeah, exactly.
situation.
But we've been in this together, the good and the bad. So when stupid guys like Cool Guy come along and try to do this divide and conquer, Opie's cool, but that Jim's a faggot or whatever he said. I don't know, because I'm not really listening that closely. It's stupid. It's not going to work.
A mile away.
Because now Norton is part of the gang. He's been part of the gang for many years now. I mean, it's funny. Some people still look at Norton as the new guy. Norton's been working with us pretty much full time for 3 years.
And I can believe me, cannot wait until we all walk into a room together, the three of us. Ooh, I can't wait to all go see Hugh and sit down.
Sit down together, all of us? When's that happening?
Oh, wow, that's a great line.
Damn.
Boy, have fun with that line, because that's never going to
happen.
Yeah,
I know, but it's still, I can dream. I'll probably get to go in with Ben and Steve.
Oh.
But that's what it was. It was trying to divide and conquer. Like, that's Psych 101. Do you really think that's going to work?
That ain't going to work. Stop it.
So here's one more rant from Cool Guy that doesn't want his listeners to know that he's married with 2 kids.
Who's this?
How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
Hey, it's Rod from Canada.
All right, then.
We're working in Colorado listening to you. You're fucking hilarious.
You think it's hilarious, huh?
Yeah.
What makes you think I'm hilarious? Did you actually laugh out loud?
Hey, man, the guy don't even listen to XM, and he listens to when you talk.
He likes when I talk, huh? Well, he's a smart guy, because I am funny. I'm funnier than Jim Norton, don't you think?
Oh, fuck, a lot funnier, man.
Let me tell you something about Jim Norton, man. He's a cheap fuck, and understand what I'm saying? He's a cheap asshole. And I've had problems with Opie in the past, but I'll let it go because he's a radio guy. You understand? I'm not a radio guy. But I'm funny.
Yeah, you are. Don't cut yourself short, man.
I'm not cutting myself short. I'm a rocker. I'm not a radio guy.
What?
Oh, I see.
I'm cool, though, man. I'm a cool guy. You understand?
Really? Are you a cool guy when you're scooping shit out of a diaper at 2 in the morning? You pussy-whipped fucking stay-at-home dad asshole. Ugh. I'm a rocker. No, you're not. Play. A chimp could do your job. And then you can go home and fuck it. Nothing would change.
Wow.
Because he's not trying to be funny. He really doesn't like me. And he figures, all right, I'll smooth things over with Opie. Here's what happened. He's like, all right, look, Opie and Anthony are going to bury me, but I can't get by Norton. He didn't like what I wrote on Whackbag. He didn't like,
apparently not.
Sorry, pal. Should have kept your mouth shut. We weren't talking about you.
Mm-hmm.
And he figured, I can't let Norton go. I can't do it. He probably wanted to, but he just dislikes me so much. So it's not a radio bit. He really doesn't like me. So if you really want to get nasty, let's get nasty. I'm very comfortable with that.
That's where you shine.
I don't even dislike the guy. Who cares about him?
It's just weird. I mean, he writes all these emails, and then the first opportunity he had, he goes after you.
That was stupid.
And what he said it was weak. I mean, is that I'm a cheap fuck, really?
What does that mean?
I don't know. Does my mom kick a can and say I'm moving? Is that the best you have, dude? It stinks.
What? Yeah, why call you cheap?
Because I'm not cheap.
I know, and has he ever been in a position where he's seen you being cheap?
Dude, I probably spent more getting blown than he has on his wife and kids. Do you understand? I'm not cheap. I always tip, always throw a few extra bucks. Sure. I'm not just dumb enough to knock him up and live with him. Sorry, pal, that was your mistake, not mine.
All right, well, there you have it. Cool guy. Have fun. Have fun, guys. Have fun.
And go back on and start it all up again.
Have fun, guys.
Yeah, whackbag.com. What are they, morons and fucks? And you're right, they probably won't. They'll just let it go.
They'll just let it go. I know the type of people they are.
Yeah, they won't start calling his show and trashing him.
No, not at all.
And, you know, if you're going to call a show, make sure, like, you know, you don't mention that he's married with 2 kids, because he doesn't want that to get out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's keep that under our hats. We shouldn't have let that slip, that he has a handful of nitwit listeners who he doesn't want to know that he's married with children. That's definitely something you shouldn't mention on his show.
Ouch.
Because that would probably bother him.
Probably would.
Well, there you go. That was fun.
You'll probably get another email.
I'm not acknowledging any emails from him. I'll read them on the air, but I'm not writing you back, buddy.
Look, I don't want people to know I listen to Broadway show tunes.
Jesus. What an idiot. Really, what an idiot.
Up here drinking champagne cocktails. Up in the Sierra Mountains.
Never marry a failed rocker.
Could you be funnier, please?
I better be, because that guy is really hilarious.
He's on fire. You're cheap.
Do you see how like shocked he was when somebody said he was funny? He's like, you think I'm funny? Like he wanted to hear lines quoted. It's like, Jesus, dude, are you that desperate to be seen as a good entertainer?
Oof.
You're not entertaining. Sorry.
That's nasty.
Hit the post, faggot. Do what you've been hired to do.
All right. Well, we got to go to break. Are we in trouble with breaks? We've talked for like an hour straight. We'll do a long one here.
Ooh,
as we go to break, Anthony, very sad news in the bowling world.
There's a bowling world?
Yeah. Dick Weber has passed on.
The famous bowler.
The famous
I
bowler.
even know that name.
Dick Weber, one of bowling's first national stars, leaves his mark as giant of the sport.
Leaves his mark.
He was 75 years old, Anthony. He died Sunday night in his sleep at his home in St. Louis. A cause of death was not immediately known. Dick Weber.
Split Carson never threw a gutter ball. Odd Couple.
Wow. You just quoted The Odd Couple? Are you insane?
That's why, Dave! That's why!
Who else comes up with that?
I'm insane.
Are you still wondering, Dave, as you're unemployed again? Or was he was working at that all-business station in Boston, but then the owner of the station killed himself?
Shot himself because he was going to be indicted on some charges of
Is Dave still working
trading.
there? Dave got fired from there, too. He went to an all-business station in Boston.
I got to check. I think they just got rid of the whole station. I don't even think it exists.
I really don't know. He might still be there, just miserable, just trying to figure out why his career never took off like
Did he get canned right before the guy committed suicide?
I think he was still there, but I think once the boss blows his brains out, I think the next guy coming in pretty much cleans house. You don't want anybody that this guy hired. He's a nut.
And it was an AM business day. And the signal was terrible. Like you could barely hear it around Boston.
He was pretty much programming the stock ticker for radio.
Yeah.
It was all business. It was like Bloomberg here in New York, that station.
Even Bloomberg gives like news. This wasn't even that. This was a bad version of that. It was just like business.
Keep wondering,
stock
Dave.
Ticker.
Keep
Dave.
wondering. Did you wonder when we were on CBS Sunday Morning?
Dave.
Were you still wondering, Dave?
Dave Dickless.
While they're talking to us on CBS Sunday Morning about indecency?
Built his whole career on Ozone's back, John Osterlin, the guy that had the relationship with the bands up there at AAF, built his whole career on that, on John's schmoozing of bands and record guys, and rode that. And then once John was gone, the guy's true colors shown. He was a nothing.
And by the
way,
excuse me. This has been wondered about in the radio business. You know, why we really turned on Dave Douglas. We never really respected him to begin with. That's a fact. And Dave knows that. I mean, we had the closed-door meetings, and his ideas were ridiculous, and we laughed at him. He wanted us to consider him the third member of the Opie and Anthony show.
Oh, he actually said that.
So we really had no respect for him. but you know, he quote was technically our boss, so we dealt with him and what am I trying to say here? We kind of just try to keep out of each other's way.
We smiled
basically.
and nodded and did whatever we wanted.
Something we don't talk about often because we really don't pat ourselves on the back on this show often, okay? But the reality is when Anthony and I went to WAAF in Worcester, Massachusetts, we were the first radio show that made a real dent in the Boston ratings. Mm-hmm. I believe, someone can look it up, we were the first radio station to beat BCN. The first radio show to beat BCN, and at that point, BCN had to really, really acknowledge us for the first time because this AAF station has a bad signal. It was out in the suburbs, but we made such our mark that we really just put AAF at a whole nother level.
Put it on the map in Boston.
A whole nother level.
It was a Worcester station.
They were starting to get a lot more respect. Bigger acts coming by, a real buzz about the radio station, and a lot of people do credit Anthony and I for doing that, okay? Yeah. And we don't really talk about it often, all right? So we move on to NEW after we messed up our careers there. And one of these rag magazines, radio rag magazines, this is exactly why, Dave, and I know you listen.
Dave.
They did a retrospect on WAAF, like a 25-year history or whatever it was, 30-year history of AAF. The highs, the lows, all about the station. How they started, what they've been doing, what they ended up becoming, some of the big names that worked at the joint. Anthony and I aren't mentioned in the entire thing.
Nothing.
And it's all about Dave. They're interviewing him like he was the guy that made this station so huge.
Oh yeah.
And the funny thing is, Dave, pretty much with the help of this rag magazine, I forget if it was Friday Morning Quarterback or I forget which one. It was a special issue. Yep. He helped them put this thing out with old photos and information about this job.
It was all Dave putting it together. It was pretty much the guy came in, Dave did the interviews and gave them all the material that they would need.
I'm on the Long Island Railroad, commuting into WNEW, reading this thing, just getting more and more just livid and pissed off. And
it wasn't like they weren't talking about any old jocks that were on there.
They talked about everybody. There was one mention of us, and it was because of Otto. Jesus, I almost forgot Otto's name, who was the promotional guy there. And they asked Otto, because they were interviewing everybody, do you have an example of a promotion that went wrong or something like that? And he goes, well, the time Opie and Anthony gave out the free turkeys, which, by the way, was illustrated in FHM last month.
Right.
That story. That was the only mention in the entire thing.
Yeah.
Didn't mention our CD that went on to sell close to 100,000 copies up there. Didn't mention the fact that we were the main force on the TV show that AF put out.
Beating BCN for the first time.
The ridiculous ratings we got in Afternoon Drive up there. Nothing. It was like we didn't. It was like we didn't exist.
Dave was responsible for that.
And that was
station.
the day I said, you know what? I will just trash this guy until he finally does not do radio at all anymore.
Yep. Oh. I used to remember when I was writing him emails. Remember the fun we used to have in the office when I used to write emails? I used to get these email accounts with fake names and write Dave and Rocco and all them. And just write and CC it to the GM, and Ben was doing the same thing. We'd CC it to the head of the whole division, the GM, and write how bad they were and how you guys I'm an insider and you guys are so close to getting fired. They're bringing new people in. Come on, tell him because Dave has to know. I pounded this for months, and. You know how bad it is to get a bad email?
Oh, yeah.
Now imagine getting one, and it's also CC'd to your bosses. Oh, it was awful. We used to laugh our asses off.
And then what happened was, they lived off what we built for a few years, and then all of a sudden the whole thing collapsed. And then it came time to start pointing fingers like, whoa, what happened?
What happened?
And the reality was Anthony and I left.
Yep.
It really is the reality. And Then we get word that they're going to fire Dave. I took so much pleasure, Dave, in telling not the whole world, but like 20 cities that you were getting fired that day, and you had no idea.
Yep.
I broke the news to you.
That was great.
Because we knew before he did.
Gone. We should find the Dada Dave thing. That's a great example of how he used to...
we have Dada Dave somewhere, no?
Do we? How he used to treat us with his little phone calls during the show. He's right down the hall, and he would call us during commercials. He would call us up and go, do you think we could steer away from the subject matter that you're discussing right now? Oh, yeah, okay, Dave. Click. And then we just keep talking about it. He'd come in red-faced, veins popping out of his head. What? I thought you meant the other thing we were talking about, Dave. And whenever we would talk about, gay people, he would get really upset because he'd have to field the phone calls. And he'd come running in and just bash us about it. So we threw together a montage of real gay song with some of the clips from his phone calls. Yeah, really. He was so pissed off at that one, too. And I don't think we can find it.
No, because...
It wasn't on Cringe.
No, it was in our office when we were showing the door. I don't know if I have that anymore.
Wow,
that's a shame.
That's legendary. We better have it somewhere.
Yeah, no, I know. The listeners will send it in, and we'll play it another day.
Yeah.
The assault on Cool Guy started last night, and I guess he didn't do his radio show last night. I think we made our point, so you guys could, go about your business, Yeah. We certainly made our point. We're not obsessed with the guy. We said what we had to say yesterday about him.
Might I add that, of course, I tuned in because I knew all those psychos from Whackbag were lined up, and it was going to be awful.
Yeah.
And he didn't do the show, but the music was very enjoyable.
It was.
Credit where it's due. Yeah, I couldn't turn it off.
Were you angered by that?
Oh, it really annoyed me how much I enjoyed the songs. Even the night before when he was trashing me, the thing that hurt the most, it wasn't being trashed, it was being trashed as he went in to play Sabbath, the thrill of it all. I've never heard that on the radio. It was as happy as I've ever been. I'm hearing myself bashed as I'm tapping my fat feet. That was very hurtful.
That stinks. You want to hate it. You just want to hate it so much.
Oh, I'm like, this scumbag. I turned on his Kiss, shouted out loud. I'm like, I was so happy.
Oh, brother. Let's say hi to Scott in Jersey. Scott, what's up?
What's happening, Hope?
Hey, man.
Ack. Listen. Hey, the phones were working great when I talked to the cool guy the other day, so that's why I'm calling.
He's rubbing it in that cool guy's phones work. Cool guys' phones work, don't they?
Oh, yeah, he's a great guy. They work really good. So,
you
I'm just checking in.